There is a forest in Japan where silence feels heavier than sound. At the base of Mount Fuji, stretching across more than 12 square miles, lies Aokigahara. To the outside world, it appears like a sea of ancient trees, dense and beautiful, a natural wonder formed centuries ago by volcanic eruptions. But those who live in Japan know it by another name, a name that carries with it both tragedy and terror. They call it the Suicide Forest. The moment you step inside, the world seems to change. The canopy is so thick that sunlight barely touches the ground. The twisted roots spread like skeletal hands across hardened volcanic rock, and every sound seems to vanish into the earth. Birds grow silent. Even the wind avoids this place, leaving behind an atmosphere so still that it feels unnatural. Hikers often say that after only a few minutes of walking, they feel the weight of the forest pressing down on them, as if unseen eyes are watching their every move. Aokigahara's reputation did not begin with modern tragedy. Its darkness reaches far back into Japanese folklore. Centuries ago, when famine struck villages and families starved, there are stories that some families, too poor to feed every mouth, abandoned their sick or elderly deep within the forest. They called this practice ubasute. Those left behind were doomed to die alone among the trees, their final breaths absorbed into the silence. Whether these accounts are entirely true or exaggerated, the belief has remained for generations. The forest holds the spirits of the abandoned, restless souls known in Japan as urei. The ureia is said to be ghosts bound to the living world by sorrow, rage, or unfinished business. Locals claim that in Aokigahara they wander endlessly, appearing as pale figures with long dark hair, drifting silently between the trees. Many who enter the forest describe hearing faint cries or whispers, voices that seem to call out from nowhere. Some believe these are the spirits of those who perished, luring the living deeper until they can no longer find their way out. In the modern era, Aokigahara became infamous for another reason. Beginning in the mid-20th century, it became a place where countless people came to end their lives. Patrols still search its depths each year, recovering belongings and sometimes bodies. At the entrance to certain trails, signs are posted urging visitors to turn back, pleading with them to think of their families and reconsider. Yet the tragedies continue. Some say it is simply the isolation of the forest that attracts the desperate. Others believe there is something darker at work, an invisible force that feeds on despair and pulls people into its embrace. Strange phenomena have been widely reported by those who ventured too far. Compasses and GPS devices often stop working, their needles spinning uselessly. Scientists explain this by pointing to the high concentration of volcanic iron in the ground, but others are not convinced. To them, the forest deliberately confuses travelers, ensuring that once they enter, they may never leave. Objects left behind tell chilling stories of those who came before. Abandoned tents, neatly arranged shoes, clothing left hanging from branches, ropes stretched high in the trees, and sometimes even personal notes scattered on the ground. Some hikers have discovered dolls nailed to trunks, offerings or curses meant to summon spirits. Each object is a silent reminder of the forest's purpose and of the countless lives it has consumed. Search and rescue workers who patrol Aokigahara describe experiences that go far beyond simple tragedy. One officer admitted that the forest feels alive, as if it holds on to sadness and refuses to let it go. He described finding a path marked by a colored string tied from tree to tree. People often leave strings behind as a lifeline to find their way back. But this one ended abruptly, in the middle of nowhere, as if the person who left it had simply vanished. Another team reported hearing what sounded like someone walking just behind them. When they turned, there was no one, only the endless, suffocating silence. Visitors too have their stories. Some say they saw a white figure standing still in the distance, but when they approached, it dissolved into the shadows. Others describe a sudden, overwhelming urge to leave, their fear growing with each step as if something unseen was pushing them out. There are tales of hikers who felt hands on their shoulders when no one was near, or whispers brushing past their ears in a language they could not understand. The forest plays tricks on the mind. Its silence is so complete that even the sound of your own heartbeat seems too loud. The longer you remain inside, the more disoriented you become. Some feel time slipping away, losing all sense of direction. Paths twist back on themselves, and landmarks vanish. The endless rows of trees begin to look identical, as though the forest itself is erasing your memory. For skeptics, these stories are nothing more than fear magnified by an eerie environment. They argue that the ghostly figures are illusions created by mist and shadow, that the whispers are tricks of the mind, desperate to fill the silence, that the oppressive weight people feel is simply psychological, the product of stepping into a place known for death. Perhaps they are right, but even the most skeptical voices rarely deny the forest's power. Aokigahara has a presence that cannot be explained away so easily. Whether haunted by spirits or haunted by sorrow, it is clear that Aokigahara is unlike any other place on Earth. It has absorbed centuries of grief, both real and legendary, and grief has a way of lingering. It leaves an echo, a shadow, something that cannot be measured but can certainly be felt. Those who walk beneath its twisted branches often leave with a part of that shadow clinging to them. So what is Aokigahara truly? A forest cursed by the restless dead? A natural labyrinth that traps the living in its silence? Or simply a mirror reflecting the pain and despair that people bring with them? Perhaps it is all of these things. One thing is certain: those who enter rarely leave unchanged. For in its silence, in its shadows, in its endless maze of trees, something waits. Some call it grief. Others call it ghosts. Whatever it may be, it belongs to the forest, and the forest does not let go. Would you dare to step inside? This is the untold path.